Have you ever held a coin worth more than a brand new Tesla and didn't even know it? It happened in Denver. A man sorting through a jar of pennies from his grandfather's attic found a 1975 Lincoln cent with a tiny D mark beneath the date. Nothing special, right? Just another dusty old penny. But what he didn't realize, what most people still don't know, is that this coin should not exist. There is no official record of a 1975 D Lincoln penny being released. In fact, according to the US Mint, it never happened. So how did this one coin escape? And why are numismatists, professional coin hunters, obsessed with it? Because this penny may be one of the most mysterious errors in American coinage history, and potentially worth over six figures. Let's rewind. 1975 was a year of preparation. The US Mint was gearing up for the nation's bicentennial in 1976, and that meant big changes to coin production. As part of the transition, some regular coin designs were paused or altered. But here's where things get strange. The Denver Mint, known for placing the D mint mark on its coins, was not supposed to issue any standard 1975 Lincoln cents for wide circulation. Instead, they were meant to produce special editions and experimental strikes, yet at least one or maybe just one escaped into the wild. And that's where the trail begins. You might be asking, how can a single penny be so valuable? Because, in the world of rare coins, anomaly is everything. When a coin that isn't supposed to exist somehow does, it becomes a once-in-a-generation artifact. A glitch in history, a loophole that collectors will pay anything to possess. But that's not even the wildest part. One anonymous collector claims he saw 3 of these pennies at a private auction in the late 90s before they mysteriously vanished. No photos, no receipts, just whispers among elite dealers and sealed briefcases under hotel tables in Las Vegas. What were they hiding? Some believe these coins were struck by accident, maybe even by a rogue mint employee. Others say it was a test run that accidentally slipped into circulation, but a darker theory has emerged in recent years, one that suggests a cover-up. A former mint inspector, who refused to reveal his name, claimed on a now-deleted numismatic forum that a batch of 1975 D pennies was accidentally released, and the mint's response: quietly buy them back, destroy them, and erase the mistake from history. But not all were recovered. Imagine that. You could be holding one right now and never know it. Let's pause for a second. Go, grab your change jar. Seriously, if you have any Lincoln cents from the 1970s, especially with a D under 1975, you need to look closer. What should you check for? A standard 1975 penny has Abraham Lincoln on the obverse, the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse, and no mint mark unless it came from San Francisco as a proof coin, but a D beneath the date. That shouldn't be there, and if it is, you may have found the key to one of the biggest unsolved mysteries in US coinage. Still think pennies are worthless? Let's break this down further. Even basic error coins like double strikes, off-center cuts, or wrong planchets can sell for thousands. But a coin that's not even supposed to exist, that's in a league of its own. Auction houses are already watching. Whispers in private coin communities say a verified 1975 D penny could fetch over $150,000 or more if tied to the rumored mint release. But here's the twist. No major auction house has ever officially listed one. Why? Some think owners are holding out, waiting for the right moment. Others believe the coins have been lost or even stolen by collectors who didn't want to give them up. And the real nightmare: you could have spent it years ago at a gas station, a vending machine, or dropped it in a tip jar without a second thought. Gone, just like that. That's the fear of loss. And it's real, because this story isn't just about a rare coin, it's about how easily fortune slips through our fingers, disguised as something ordinary. How many times have you dismissed a coin as pocket change, when it could have changed your life? Still not checking your pennies? Let this be your wake-up call. History has cracks, mistakes happen, and sometimes those mistakes turn into six-figure paydays for the people who notice. So go back, look again, dig through that drawer, that piggy bank, that old coffee tin, because somewhere out there, a 1975 D Lincoln penny is still waiting to be found. Maybe in your house, maybe in your pocket right now. And if you find it, your life might never be the same. Check your coins now. You might be sitting on a fortune. What if I told you there's a penny so rare it's worth more than a brand new Tesla, and yet millions of people have unknowingly spent it at gas stations or lost it in their couch cushions? This isn't a myth, it's real, and it's disguised as one of the most common coins in America, the 1977 Abraham Lincoln 1-cent penny, with no mint mark. You've probably seen hundreds of them, but there's one version of this coin that collectors will pay over $7,000 for. And here's the chilling part: it looks almost exactly like a regular penny. Stay with me, because by the end of this video, you'll know how to tell if your penny jar contains a hidden jackpot, or if you've already lost thousands of dollars without even realizing it. In 1977, the US Mint produced billions of Lincoln pennies. Most were minted in Philadelphia, and those coins had no mint mark. That alone wouldn't make them special. But among these, a tiny handful of 1977 pennies were struck with a flaw so rare, so precisely imperfect, that their value skyrocketed. decades later. This wasn't just a chipped edge or a misprint. We're talking about a mechanical mistake that left subtle doubling on Lincoln's portrait, the date, and the words "In God We Trust." It's known among numismatists as the 1977 double die penny, and it's an invisible treasure hiding in plain sight. And here's the kicker. Even expert coin graders admit that most people can't spot it with the naked eye, which begs the question, how many of these are still out there? Picture this. An old man walks into a coin shop with a Ziploc bag of change, the kind most of us toss into a drawer and forget about. The clerk sighs. It's probably junk. But then, he spots it. A 1977 penny. No mint mark. Nothing unusual at first glance. But something feels off. He reaches for his loupe. He stares, blinks, looks again. His hands start to shake. That penny, sold at auction for $7,050. And here's where things get interesting. Unlike other rare coins that are locked away in vaults, this one could be anywhere. It may be in circulation right now, sitting in someone's glove box, trapped in a coin jar under a teenager's bed, or maybe it's in your pocket. So why hasn't everyone heard about it? Because it doesn't scream value. There's no gold plating, no glaring error, no sparkle. It looks boring, and that's what makes it dangerous. It slips past even sharp eyes, unless you know what to look for: a precise doubling on the letters, the subtle shifts in Lincoln's profile, the microscopic differences. You'd never guess. You'd spend it without a second thought. How many people already have? Here's a question. When was the last time you really looked at your pennies? Not just glanced, looked. Most of us don't, but after this you will. Let's interrupt the pattern here, because there's something even stranger. In 1977, the mint was modernizing. Errors like this weren't supposed to happen anymore. The technology was tighter, the standards stricter. So how did one of the most valuable double die errors in modern US history slip through the cracks? Some believe it was a fluke. Others think a damaged die was reused knowingly in a final minting run. And a few collectors even whisper theories of sabotage, or a rogue mint employee who left behind a literal treasure hunt. No one really knows, and that mystery only adds to its power. Here's what you need to do. Go find your change jar, grab a magnifying glass, look at every 1977 penny with no mint mark. Tilt it under the light. Examine the Liberty and In God We Trust. Look for ghost-like doubling, that almost imperceptible shift in the letters. It's subtle, but once you see it, you'll never forget it, because in that moment, you're not just holding a penny, you're holding a secret. A forgotten mistake worth thousands, a direct link to American history, error, and luck. Thousands of these coins may still exist, or they may already be lost forever, slipped through vending machines and street gutters, but the next one found might be yours. Check your coins now. You might be sitting on a fortune. They thought it was worthless, until one sold for over $2,000. It was found inside a dusty old coffee can. The owner almost threw it away, just 1 cent, after all. But when a collector spotted the faint D under Lincoln's shoulder, everything changed. Because this isn't just any penny from 1979. This is a numismatic ghost, a rare Denver minted Lincoln cent with a hidden story. One the US Mint never wanted to talk about, and right now there could be one in your pocket. Let's go back. 1979. The Cold War is boiling. Gas lines stretch for blocks. Elvis is gone. But the US Mint, it's pushing out billions of pennies. Most so common they're practically invisible. But amidst the flood of copper, a few slip through the cracks. Literally, they look normal, ordinary. But under magnification, their secrets are undeniable. Doubled dies, repunched mint marks, even planchet anomalies that defy explanation. The 1979 D penny is supposed to be mundane. Billions were made in Denver. But here's the twist. A tiny batch emerged with minting errors. So bizarre they set off alarms among collectors. Ever heard of a floating roof Lincoln cent and some 1979 D pennies? The detail connecting the roof of the Lincoln Memorial to its columns is mysteriously missing. No one knows exactly how many exist. Some experts believe fewer than 1 in 10,000 from that year show this error. Others say even that is too generous. But here's where it gets really strange. Certain 1979 D Lincoln cents don't just have the floating roof. They also feature a doubled die reverse, a freak occurrence where parts of the design appear slightly, it's shifted, almost vibrating with distortion. To the average eye, it's a flaw. To a collector, it's a golden ticket. So, how did this happen? During high-speed production, the dies, the steel stamps that create the coin's design, sometimes slip or misalign. For a coin to survive quality control with these errors, especially in 1979 when the mint was under pressure to mass produce, is incredibly rare. And here's the kicker. Even today, the mint has never fully acknowledged the extent of these anomalies. In 2023, a pristine 1979D penny with these characteristics fetched $2,150 at auction. It had sat in a private collection for decades. Its owner, a retired janitor who used to empty vending machines. How many other hidden fortunes like this are out there? Pause. Look in your change jar, that pile of pennies you've ignored for years. You might be sitting on one of the rarest Lincoln cents ever struck. Let's break it down. What should you look for? First, The D mint mark slightly tilted, sometimes even doubled. Use a magnifying glass. Second, the roof of the Lincoln Memorial. Is it floating, disconnected from the columns? Third, the reverse are the words 1 cent or e pluribus unum ghosted, doubled, or warped. Even minor versions of these features can drive the value into the hundreds. Pristine examples. Thousands. And then there's condition. Coins are graded on a 70-point scale. A 1979D penny in MS67 red, meaning it's in near perfect, uncirculated condition with full red luster, is the crown jewel. Only a handful exist. Now here's a question that stops people cold. What if your childhood piggy bank holds a penny that could pay off your credit card debt? It's not just about value, it's about history, mystery, legacy. Every rare coin is a survivor, a mistake that slipped through unnoticed, only to reappear decades later with a story no one saw coming. And the most chilling part, most people throw these coins away without ever knowing. Collectors call it blind loss. Millions in rare coins lost every year to ignorance. Some end up back in circulation, tossed in fountains, swallowed by machines. So before you cash in your change, stop. Dig through your coins. Study every 1979 penny, especially those with a D, because you don't need to be an expert to find one. You just need to know what to look for. And now, you do. Your next paycheck might be hiding in plain sight, smaller than a quarter, lighter than a nickel, but worth far, far more. Check your coins now. You might be sitting on a fortune. You might want to sit down for this, because there's a tiny copper coin that the US government swore never existed in this form, and yet it does, and someone just paid $18,000 for it. But here's the twist. It could be hiding right now, in your coin jar, in your pocket, in your glove compartment. The 1982 Lincoln penny with a D mint mark isn't just rare, it's an accident, a secret, $1 million mistake made of 1 single gram of copper. Now stay with me, because once you hear why this coin shouldn't exist, and how it slipped past us mint officials, you'll never look at spare change the same way again. 1982 was chaos for the penny. The cost of copper was skyrocketing. For the first time in history, it was worth more inside the coin than the coin's face value. So, the US Treasury made a drastic change. They silently pulled the plug on pure copper pennies and began minting them with a cheaper zinc ore coated in copper. From the outside, they looked the same, but the inside completely different. Here's where the story turned strange. There were 7 official types of pennies minted in 1982, 4 made of zinc, 3 made of copper, and none officially were supposed to be a copper penny with a D Denver mint mark and small date. Yet one surfaced, then another. Coin experts were baffled. This penny, in theory, should not exist, but it does. And now, collectors are on a frenzied hunt to find it. Let's slow down for a second. How do you prove a coin is made of copper, not zinc? Simple, you weigh it. A copper 1982 penny weighs 3.11 grams. A zinc one, only 2.5 grams. That's it. A difference of just 0.61 grams less than a paperclip. But that tiny detail could be worth thousands of dollars. One collector found one in a random roll of coins from the bank. He almost tossed it until he noticed the date looked slightly off. He put it on a scale. 3.11 grams, copper, Denver mint, small date, the rarest combination, the one that was never supposed to leave the mint. That coin sold for $18,000. Let that sink in. Now, here's a pattern interrupt. Ask yourself, when was the last time you looked at a penny? Not just looked at it, but really looked, because, according to numismatists, less than 20 of these 1982 copper small date pennies are known to exist, which means the next one found could be yours. But it gets even more mysterious. How did this error even happen? While historians believe that during the transition in 1982, the Denver Mint accidentally struck a few copper planchets using the new small date dies, before the zinc planchets were fully phased in. It's a minting error that slipped through the cracks, possibly the result of leftover copper blanks mistakenly loaded into machines set for zinc production. And here's the kicker. Nobody at the mint noticed, or if they did, they said nothing. It was a silent error, unrecorded, undocumented, and potentially worth more than a new car. If you're still watching, you're probably wondering, how do I spot one? Here's what you need to look for. The date must be 1982. It must have a small date. The 8 in particular is slightly higher than the 1 and 2. It must have a D mint mark under the year. And when you weigh it, it must be exactly 3.11 grams if your penny matches all 4. You could be holding a lottery ticket in disguise. Now imagine this. You're rummaging through an old piggy bank, long forgotten, in a drawer. You dump the contents on a table, not expecting anything valuable, and then one coin catches your eye. It looks normal, ordinary even, but that's how these stories always begin. The most valuable coins in history were hiding in plain sight, overlooked, dismissed, almost thrown away. And the 1982 D copper small date penny, it's one of the most elusive, most mysterious, and most misidentified coins in American history. Still think pennies are worthless? Check your coins now. You might be sitting on a fortune, Did you know that a single penny just one was recently sold for over $10,000, and most people wouldn't even look at it twice? This isn't a silver coin, it's not ancient, it's not gold-plated, it's a 1985 Abraham Lincoln 1-cent coin, with a tiny D mark under the date, and what makes it worth a small fortune is almost invisible. Millions of these pennies were minted in Denver that year, but only a few contain a chilling microscopic error, one that wasn't caught in time, and now collectors are desperately hunting for it. Because if it's sitting in your drawer, your jar, your childhood collection, you're not holding a penny. You're holding a lottery ticket in disguise. But here's the catch. Most people throw it away before they ever notice what's wrong. So how do you know if you've got the rare one? What exactly makes it so valuable, and why is the US Mint terrified of certain versions being found in circulation? Stay with me, because what you're about to see could change how you look at money forever. It starts in 1985. Ronald Reagan is president. The Cold War is still brewing, and in Denver, the US Mint is stamping out billions of Lincoln cents. But deep inside that ocean of copper-plated zinc, something went very wrong. A small batch of dystoses of the metal stamps that imprint the coin's design were flawed. Whether it was overuse, a misalignment, or a mysterious double strike, no one noticed. Not until it was too late, and the results. Terrifying for the mint. Some coins were printed with a ghost image, others showed doubling where Lincoln's face, the lettering, or even the mint mark itself appears blurred, stretched, or shadowed. These weren't just cosmetic quirks. They were mistakes the mint couldn't afford to admit, because collectors, they love mistakes, especially when they're this rare. And that's where the 1985D Lincoln penny becomes something more than pocket change. It becomes a treasure hunt now. Here's the twist most people never expect. There's no public record of how many flawed 1985D Lincoln cents exist. No official announcement, no withdrawal, no warning, just silence. That means these coins slip through the cracks. Into banks, into stores, into our homes, and that's why collectors are going crazy, trying to find them. One example with clear doubling on the Liberty text and the date recently sold for $5,700 at auction. Another, barely worn, fetched over $10,000 because of its freakishly preserved double die strike. But here's what should make you pause. Most people have already seen this coin. They just didn't know what they were holding. Ask yourself this. How many coins have you thrown into a vending machine without even glancing at the date? How many 1985D pennies have slipped through your hands? If you're like most people, the answer is too many to count. But there's still time, because these rare errors, they're still out there. They're still waiting, in old coin jars, in forgotten piggy banks, in the change you get at the grocery store. All you need is to know what to look for. So what exactly separates the ordinary from the extraordinary? Start with the date, 1985. Then look under it for the mint mark, a small d. That means Denver now. Here's where it gets intense. You'll need a magnifying glass or a phone camera zoomed in tight. Look at the word Liberty. Do the letters seem doubled, slightly off, shadowed? Check Lincoln's eye too. Some of these errors show a bizarre doubling in his pupil, like he's looking in two directions at once. If you see that, you're not imagining it. That could be one of the rarest modern pennies in US history, and the demand is growing fast because these error coins, they're not being made anymore. And every day, more are being lost, spent, damaged, or tossed away by people who don't know what they have. But here's the most unsettling part of all. There are rumors among numismatist serious coin experts that an ultra-rare variation of the 1985D Lincoln penny exists, with a missing mint mark altogether. That's not supposed to happen. Ever. If even one of these is confirmed, its value could skyrocket into six figures. It would be a once-in-a-generation discovery, and you wouldn't hear about it in the news. Collectors would bury it to avoid market chaos. So maybe, just maybe, the next person to uncover one of these lost coins is you. So check your coins. Look for 1985. Look for the D, look for the signs, because you're not just searching for a penny, you're chasing a secret, a mystery hidden in plain sight. And who knows, that ordinary coin in your pocket, it could be worth more than your paycheck. Don't wait. Check your change now. You might be sitting on a fortune. Because inside your change jar, hidden among ordinary pennies, there could be one coin that breaks every rule, defies all logic, and turns pocket change into 5 figures overnight. It's not gold, it's not silver, it's a penny. But not just any penny. This is the story of a 1986 Abraham Lincoln cent with no mint mark, and its terrifying mystery has coin experts baffled to this day. Let's dive in. At first glance, the 1986 Lincoln penny looks like every other 1-cent coin, copper-plated zinc, Lincoln's stoic profile, the familiar memorial reverse, but something's missing. There's no mint mark now. That might not sound like a big deal, until you understand what it actually means. In 1986, the US Mint produced billions of pennies. All of them were supposed to be stamped with a mint mark, a tiny letter indicating where the coin was made. If it was minted in Philadelphia, it should show nothing that's normal. But here's the twist. Some of these no mint mark 1986 pennies don't behave like Philadelphia strikes at all. Their metallurgical composition is different. Their strike is unusual, their weight is off by just enough to raise eyebrows. And here's where it gets chilling. There are theories that a rogue batch of 1986 pennies was created illegally using dies, not meant for public circulation, and some collectors believe it was done by an insider. Now pause. Ask yourself this. If a coin was struck in 1986 using unauthorized dies, with no traceable mint mark, how do you prove it's real? You can't, not easily. That's exactly why these rare 1986 no-mint pennies are so dangerous and so valuable. They're invisible to almost everyone, except for the people who know exactly what to look for. And here's the crazy part. One of these coins, lightly circulated, was recently valued at over $8,000 for a penny. But here's the cliffhanger no one talks about. It's not the only one out there. Thousands of these phantom coins may still exist, slipped into circulation, lost in drawers, waiting in forgotten piggy banks, and because they were never supposed to exist, the mint has never confirmed how many were made, or if they were even authorized. This uncertainty drives up the price, because when collectors smell mystery, they chase it like bloodhounds. And the rarer the coin, the more the story doesn't make sense, the higher the price climbs. But now you're probably wondering, how do you tell a common 1986 penny from one of these rare anomalies? You'll need more than just sharp eyes. First, the weight. Common 1986 pennies should weigh around 2.5 grams. But some of the rare ones tip the scale differently, sometimes closer to the pre-1982 weight of 3.1 grams. That's a red flag. Next, look at the strike. These rogue coins often have unusually sharp details, especially around Lincoln's jacket and hair. That may indicate a proof die was used, and those dies weren't meant for circulation coins in '86. Then, examine the rim. Several authenticated rare specimens have double rims, a possible clue that a test strike or arrow die was used. But here's the wildest clue of all. Some 1986 no-mint pennies exhibit micro-engraving inconsistencies, like mismatched font spacing or slight misalignment of the date. Details so small that only trained graders catch them, which means you could be holding one right now and never know. The question is no longer do these coins exist. They do. The question is, how many are still out there? Because every day, these rare 1986 no-mint Lincoln cents vanish, spent unknowingly, lost forever in vending machines, exchanged in gas stations, handed to cashiers, or dropped in tip jars. That's the fear, that a priceless coin might already be gone. But it's also the thrill that one might still be waiting in your drawer, in your car, in your pocket. So, what happens when someone finds one? Auction houses fight for the listing. Collectors line up to bid. A single cent becomes the center of a storm, and fortunes are made quietly. But there's one final twist. Experts believe the origin of these coins may be tied to a mint employee who broke protocol, testing proof dies on regular planchet. A rumor, never confirmed, but the pattern fits. And if that's true, then these 1986 pennies aren't just rare, they're a piece of forbidden US mint history, a shadow chapter no one was meant to see. Check your coins now. Look closely. The plain little penny in your change jar might be more than just copper and zinc. That it could be a secret, a mistake, a myth come to life. And if you're the one who finds it, you won't just be richer, you'll be part of a story the government never wanted told. Imagine finding a coin so ordinary it looks worthless until you realize it could buy you a brand new car. No glitter, no shine, just a 1987 Abraham Lincoln penny. No mint mark, no fanfare. Yet collectors are quietly paying hundreds, even thousands for it. Why? That's the mystery we're unraveling today. But don't blink, because if you overlook one tiny detail, you might accidentally spend your fortune at a gas station. In 1987, millions of pennies were minted across the US. They were never meant to be rare, but one subtle error slipped through the cracks, an anomaly so precise, so seemingly insignificant, that it took years for collectors to even notice. And when they did, everything changed. Let's rewind. Pennies struck in Philadelphia typically carry no mint mark. So what makes this 1987 no mint penny different? The answer lies in the metal, and in a factory mistake so rare, it's rumored only a few exist in circulation today. You see, in the late 80s the US Mint was transitioning from bronze to copper-plated zinc coins. Most people didn't care. A penny was a penny. But behind closed doors, the change wasn't seamless. Some blank-schooled planchets from older years were accidentally used in newer batches. That means certain 1987 pennies were struck using obsolete bronze planchet, reserved for years long gone. Now here's where it gets chilling. These errors are almost invisible to the naked eye. You could have one in your change jar right now and never know it, unless you know what to look for. But it gets even stranger. In 2019, one of these mystery coins was auctioned for over $1,500. The buyer, anonymous, the seller shocked. They'd picked it out of a coin roll bought at a local bank for 1 cent. You might be asking, why would anyone pay that much for a penny with no mint mark? Because rarity isn't always about what's added, it's about what's missing. A missing mint mark on a 1987 coin isn't supposed to be rare, but pair that with the wrong metal composition, an abnormal weight, and the timing of the mint's transition, and suddenly you've got a Frankenstein coin, a 1 in a million accident of American currency. Still think it's just pocket change? Let's pause for a moment. Grab a 1987 penny if you have one. Feel it. Is it heavier than usual? Does the color seem richer, less orange, more golden brown? That might not be your imagination. That might be 3.11 grams of pure bronze instead of the usual 2.5 grams of zinc, a tenth of a gram. Could be the difference between 1 cent and $1,000. And here's the real twist. Most people don't even know this coin exists. It's not in the mainstream collector's guides. It doesn't make headlines. It hides in plain sight. And that's exactly why it's so dangerous to ignore. Because right now, someone, maybe you, has this coin, sitting in a drawer, unprotected, unchecked, unbelieved, and with every year that passes, fewer of these coins remain. Some get lost, others are spent. Many are unknowingly damaged, killing their value forever. That's the fear of the irreversible. Loss of a treasure you never knew you had. But here's the good news. Spotting one isn't impossible. All you need is a basic digital scale, a sharp eye, and a reason to look. So, how do you know if your 1987 Lincoln penny is the one? Check the weight first. If it reads 3.11 grams, you've got the first clue. Next, examine the color. Bronze coins tend to dull differently than zinc. Finally, consider a magnet test. Zinc coins have almost no magnetic response. Bronze, slightly different behavior depending on purity, of course. To truly confirm it, you'll need a professional appraisal or metallurgical analysis. But many high-value finds started with a hunch, someone noticing something just off. Now here's where this gets emotional. Every time someone tosses a 1987 penny into a Coinstar machine, they might be throwing away a piece of American history, a glitch in the system, a silent relic of a government transition barely anyone remembers. It's more than money. It's a symbol of how something seemingly worthless can hold incredible, hidden value. And maybe that's what draws collectors in, not just the profit, what the possibility. The next time you see a penny on the sidewalk, will you walk past it, or will you wonder what secrets it holds? Because that's the question no one's asking, and the one that could change everything. Check your coins now. You might be sitting on a fortune.